Also tonight, the people in charge of the big Pride festivities in San Francisco have told some gays they are not welcome. Simon Perez has the story that certainly seems odd when you first hear about it, Simon.
Veronica, during Pride weekend, events are going to fill up Civic Center Plaza here in front of City Hall in San Francisco. That's where dozens, hundreds of groups get together and really explain to people what it is that they do. But this year, there will be no National Guard presence, no California military presence at all, because the Pride Committee said they couldn't come.
So to hear that we were not allowed to come this year was certainly a shock to us and quite upsetting too, coming from my standpoint, being a gay man openly serving in the California State Military Reserve.
Matthew Reese is a staff sergeant in the California State Military Reserve, a state group that backs up the National Guard during natural disasters. But this year, both the National Guard and the State Military Reserve were told to stay away from San Francisco Pride events.
We find this to be really particularly disturbing because only LGBT people in the city of San Francisco are being affected by this. That LGBT people throughout the state have full access and are welcoming these recruiters. But San Francisco is being denied that option.
Indeed, Reese says the National Guard and the State Military Reserve were welcomed at Pride events in Los Angeles and San Diego, but not here. Although our efforts to contact people at Pride by phone, through email, and in person proved fruitless, Pride leaders have been quoted as saying part of the reason behind the military ban was the U.S. military doesn't allow transgender people to serve openly.
And that doesn't hold any water for the California State Military Reserve. We are recruiting our first transgender service member, or our first out transgender service member, I should say, into the CSMR in the next months.
There will be one military angle to Pride weekend, as Bradley Manning, now known as Chelsea, has been named Honorary Grand Marshal. Manning was sentenced to 35 years in prison after being convicted of espionage. Manning admitted to leaking military documents to WikiLeaks while in the Army. Manning isn't worthy of honor, according to Fred Schein, who heads up the San Francisco Log Cabin Republicans.
Chelsea Manning put many American lives in jeopardy in Iraq and in Afghanistan and perhaps other places in the world through the information that was released.
Pride weekend is scheduled to take place the last week in June. In San Francisco, I'm Simon Perez, KPX 5.